All right, back in Kautakya, looks like a storm is about to come in. Sunday might mean there's more people out. Things are closed on Monday here. Uh, Folks from Bangkok will come down for the weekend. A lot of Thai people will come down here just for the weekend because it's not that far. You can drive in a couple of hours. So yesterday I was talking to a friend who's going to retire here, and we were trying to get together like an idea of what we thought would be maybe like a good budget and send some boots on the ground. He's very familiar, so it's not like he doesn't have an idea. He probably knows more about Thailand than I do. But just because I'm here, and because inflation does exist everywhere, we had a little conversation. And so there's a bunch of people on YouTube, that talk about, hey man, you could live here for your Social Security. You could live here with 1,800. You could live here with $1,000 a month. I have heard people say on YouTube, and so we're going to kind of address that now. Housing is super cheap. There's no question about it. I have a studio condo, which isn't, just I'm a little old for that shit. I would like to have a room. I know. I talked to my going back to the 1,000, 1,800, 1,500, whatever. We're going to be coming up on the resident crazy now. So let's talk about what you can get for that. So my son has he's in a decent place for $250. It's a studio. His studio is probably like 58 square meters. It's small, but he's a young guy. Turn around while I talk so you can we're going to be coming into the more traditional Thai neighborhoods. Once in a while I might put the camera down so as not to offend. I'm also going to be passing the town's resident lunatic, and so we'll see how she reacts as well. We'll start with this is a traditional Thai gas station here. It's called Gasahol. This will feed a lot of these, they call them motorcycles, but they're actually mopeds, or not mopeds, I don't know what the correct term is, because it's not a motorcycle, right? So anyway, things like that will go ahead and get powered by that. They call it Gasahol. Anyway, we're coming in. This is some type of condo, not the traditional Thai thing I was telling you about. They have a bus, and there's some kind of party going on. But these homes here are traditional Thai homes, and as we come into, as we get deeper into the neighborhood here, it'll become more so. And why am I going there? Well, I'm going there. It's almost like Mexican music, huh? So going there because I want to show you what these people that say you could live off $1,000 or whatever. Let's go see what rent looks like and life looks like for those people. Again, I only pay like $5.25 for my place. My son pays like comes out to about $250 US for his little joint, and that's super cheap. I mean, anybody in the United States, is there something you can get for $250? It's a traditional Thai place right now. Basically just a table, propane kitchen set up. She's got her vegetables and her food, and there's a little table here that you can sit at. She'll wipe it down if you want to eat there. And that's how Thai people eat. You want to eat cheap, you want something for 20, 30 baht, you want to try to find a meal for $1. That's the kind of place you're gonna have to eat at. I eat at those places too. But I'm saying you're on this budget now of 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, whatever. You have to eat there now, right? Because money can go fast. Little Thai restaurants here. These places are probably very good, probably very inexpensive. I don't know, I can't speak to the prices at the store, but the restaurant, the food, as probably inexpensive. I just found this place. Oh, look, a little cannabis shop. Closed right now. Maybe we'll do a video, come back here to see what the local cannabis guy has like. Fruit smoothies. There's no price on this, so I mean, if you don't know how to speak Thai, if you're vacationing here, likelihood is there's a different price. It's Farang price for you, but nonetheless, it's probably going to be very cheap to get a smoothie or fruit shake that they have there. I've seen this fella around before. He's pretty cool. So the cop. A lot of traffic all of a sudden. Traditional Thai house. I don't know, this might be broken into like 4 units or something, but sometimes, yeah, it probably is units. Land for sale, bananas. Alright, try to clear it up a little bit. So like I said, we're getting into a traditional Thai neighborhood. All the restaurants you see, the shit for sale is right down in it. Very few tourists, I think, mess around back here. Kind of places like to go. Barbershop. This dude's got some gas for sale. Various types of things. Here's a convenience store type situation. Looks like they serve some food. You can sit in the back and eat there. Probably get fed there pretty cheaply. Traditional Thai homes. That's a nice one. They're doing well. And so you should know, people live well and people live maybe poorly elsewhere. This now would be an example of some apartments that you might get. And I can't really get a good view. I don't live here. I don't want to invade these people's space. But this is probably a series of 2 or 3 apartments down this long alleyway here. And that's the type of thing that you get maybe as a Farang, you're gonna pay $3,000. Maybe you're gonna pay $3,500. Maybe, $100 US, okay? Come on, Sophie. She's hiding from the sun. You see people like this guy dressed up like a ninja, right? So they're dressed like that. They're hiding from the sun. Is what's happening. These people give yoga classes here. It's a fitness place. Yoga. Nice little place too. Did we come down here last time? Huh? No. Or did we went this way, huh? But this is a little way where you're only gonna find Thai people living, traditional stores, that type of stuff. And that's where you're gonna have to shop. Because you're trying to live off $1,500 bucks. Here's some cows. You're gonna provide steak that you're rarely going to be able to afford, because steak is not as expensive as the United States, but a good steak costs some money. Here, Thai steak is not particularly good. So I usually buy Australian or New Zealand steak when you're here, and you're talking about, I don't know, I pay $5 for a good strip loin, or it depends on the cut. $4 or $5 is pretty average. And when I last lived in the United States, that was 2022, get a good steak was costing significantly more than that. Been speaking a lot of Greek, and Sawasdee Sawasdee.
I see why you walking.
Somebody's curious, so like, what's this dude doing? So like I said, we're really in a Thai neighborhood. So at this point, they're like, why is this guy here? Why is he videotaping? And that's cool. No different than in your neighborhood, right? Huh? All right, so we're resuming our walk and talk. There's going to be some apartments here that I'll show you as well that you could probably get. I don't know that they're less than 3,000 for a Thai person, maybe so. In Bangkok, my girlfriend had a really modest studio and it was 7,000. But you know, it was in town. She was not far from where she worked in Bangor and so on. So expensive part of town still was able to get. But there's going to be a different price for a Thai national and you and I. And that's just the way it is. So not really a whole lot of discussion about that. I wanted to go to Muay Thai boxing, and for my girlfriend the entrance fee is 200. This is a typical apartment unit here. You can see the doors. It's kind of, no matter how you slice it up, it's always institutional looking, man, these kind of units. Then they have a little coin operated laundry out here for themselves, and you see you park your scooter right in front of the house. They must be really small because virtually everybody's storing shit outside, including their clothes, so they don't have enough space. Something like this could be very cheap for like I said, for Farang, maybe you're looking at 3,000 on a long term, but it could be more. I don't know. I don't shop in that range. Yeah, we can get out this way. Some, I don't know, apartments, I think they look like. Here's some more apartments that are probably inexpensive. No AC, people are getting by with the fan. It's hot today. It's hot. We try to live without AC, but it's been hot the past few days, and you know. Some horses back there. Use the horses to living in examples of the places that I showed you. And then, you know, let's talk about other things. Okay, yeah, you can go to the beach. I go to the beach every day. But, you know, I also stopped into 7-Eleven this morning just on that, I don't know what I wanted, soda water or something. And, you know, 400 baht later, I'm going back to the house with a little bit of this and a little bit of that because I don't know, because we want that to have that stuff in the house. So you have to consider that incidentals, I guess is what you would call them, or maybe even staples. I mean, I bought food and water. So people really need to factor that in. And then there's a whole part of mental well-being. I mean, you can do a lot of walking here. You can buy a used bike very cheaply. It's safe to ride around. You don't need to the expenditure of a motorbike if you're on that type of budget. It looks like there's a lot of hiking that can be done. And if you like just plain chilling on the beach, then there's a lot of that can be done. But I don't know how much of that can you do and really be satisfied. I read a lot. We do a lot of free things, but nonetheless, you know, when it's time to go get something to eat, maybe I don't want Thai salad. Maybe I don't want a meat stick today. You know, maybe I want a hamburger sometimes. Well, you know, you're going to pay a little bit for that. And again, much cheaper in the United States, but not within the realism of a budget that's less than a few $1,000s for one person. If you're a couple, that's another story. If you're dating, that's another story. I mean, you're going to have to go on a date. And things are fairly traditional here. I'd say, you know, you're going to pay as well. So if you want to entertain people, you're going to have money to do that. You might want to drink once in a while, and that's going to cost some money too. If maybe you like to smoke some weed or something like that, that's not really going to fit into that $1,000 budget. Weed and alcohol are kind of expensive here. I mentioned the alcohol before. I like wine, and it's difficult to get good wine here. Difficult to have it served to you properly. They like it cold. They would like, not like chilled, but cold. So that's not really how I like my reds. And so in addition to that, it's going to be expensive. We found a really cool joint last night where it's only 120 baht per glass, which is the same as some places charge for beer. Here we go this way. These are a little bit nicer, but still these are probably relatively inexpensive. So I'm not naysaying, these are pretty nice. Bungalow, I guess you would call them. I don't know how you would classify it. It's kind of hotelish, right? You know. So, but these are probably inexpensive as well. Probably under 5,000 or under, probably. I don't know what's inclusive inside. For example, my son's condo doesn't have a kitchen. It has a kitchen. I mean, it has a sink and a microwave, but he can't. There's nowhere to cook. So there's that. What I'm told. So it's like a giant string bean, and they use it in a lot of their recipes. I call it a bean. My girlfriend speaks very good. I found some people willing to do that here, but not indigenous people. So there's a lot of French and Russian people here that are making good money. A lot of people from the Scandinavian countries that live here. A lot of guys are here retired. They have young Thai wives, and again, they're probably on budgets much higher than what would be indicated in some of these videos that I've seen. So going back to that, start going back around. We've seen some housing. We've seen what you're going to be eating, and it's all good to try something new. But day in and day out, you know, tom yum, krapao, papaya salad, and you know, fruit. Yeah, I guess you could. People live that way, but this is not for me, right? So be aware of that. You're not renting one of these. You're not, I don't know, you're not paying 1,000 baht to go see Muay Thai, right? Here's one with just rooms for rent. And that's probably cheap. You could probably do some long-term negotiations with these people and probably come up with something cheap. It's a room, you know? That's nice for 18-year-old backpacker, but it's not for me. All right, so we're back around to the same place. We talked about that, we talked about you're gonna want some money to socialize. You're gonna want some money to do some things that are special, and I guess one I didn't cover was occasionally, like next month, we're going to Vietnam, and we're going to Hoi An, and we're going to spend some time there. I'd like to spend what's that, babe? Yeah. These dudes are partying, man, on vacation. We rented out a pool villa. Say hello to YouTube! Yeah, man. So that's kind of early. I don't know what time it is. It's before 10. So right on. Like last day of a weekend vacation. Today is Sunday. Yeah. So that costs money, right? A couple of months ago we went to Malaysia. We travel every so often, and we want to start. I'm going to start getting back into Europe. I don't know. Somehow I might end up slow traveling my way back to. Here's another example of a restaurant you would eat at if you were. There's definitely traditional Thai shit right there. Swadika. I'm just trying to eat. All right. So traveling, and you want to have some money in the bank in case you get hurt. There's all kinds of, you might have to buy insurance. I have insurance. Definitely, at least for emergencies, right? If you do outpatient, it's inexpensive, but nonetheless, you still have to have money for that. And at $1,000 a month, I don't know how you're going to be saving any money in the event that you might need to fly back to your home country, or you might get scuffed up riding a bicycle or whatever, the things that happen to people in life. So with that, hopefully I've covered my opinion about how much it costs to live here. Probably wasn't very clear about it. If you're a couple and you like to do things, you like to eat well, like me, I like to drink whiskey and wine, and I like to smoke. And so for me, my budget, I'm going to kind of keep that personal. But I would say for a couple that was probably lived a little slower than I lived, then maybe 4,000 would be a good idea, especially if you're part of a couple where your partner is tied. My girlfriend is able to save me money, able to tell me what is exorbitant, what's correct, what's not correct, make sure I'm being charged appropriately when we get the bill. It helps me to know if this is a good place to eat, this isn't a good place, blah, blah, blah. So it's just like having a personal guide, really. So if you're in that kind of partnership, then you can do a little more magic with your budget than you could if you're kind of walking around with your hand out in front of you, just feeling your way through, which is usually how I travel, by the way. No offense to anybody. That's kind of how I roll. So that's more expensive to do it that way. So for a couple of $4,000, for the $2,000 minimum, and for a young person, you're gonna want to have a little bit more, because Thai are friendly, they're nice looking people, and very approachable, and you're gonna want to date, man. I don't see how you would not want to do that. So with that, be well. We'll talk to you guys next time. I don't know what the next video could be of. If you want to leave a comment and ask me to go see something, or talk about something that is of interest to you, leave a comment and let me know, and I'll try to do that, because I'm extremely sporadic. I do have an appointment this afternoon. I do work sometimes, so I do have an appointment this afternoon, and so I'm probably going to try to shower before that and go do that. But otherwise, I live very spontaneously, and sometimes I do a lot of fun things, sometimes I don't. You got to let me know what you want to see, because a lot of times when I do fun things, I like to focus on that, and I'm not going to make a video of it. It's just not, I'm not doing it for a living, and I want to have fun sometimes too. Peace, goodbye, be kind to each other.